everyone, this is Thereza Rautenbach. I have been involved in several aspects of the real estate industry for more than 30 years. I've been involved in property management, property development, as well as investment property and commercial medical real estate. So I have a question for you today. You've always paid for your house. How much has your house paid you? Have you ever thought of the fact that you don't always have to pay for your house? You can turn it into an asset that will pay you. Like we all know, the average homeowner spends a lot of money to own a property. You pay for a mortgage, you pay for rates and taxes, you pay for maintenance, you pay for refuse removal that is included in your rates and taxes, and most importantly, insurance. So over its lifetime, you really put in a lot of money towards owning that home. So basically, a house is not an asset, it's a liability. Because if you calculate how much you spend on your house over 10, 20, 30 years, it's actually a frightening amount which we often prefer not to think of. And we always think that we are going to be able to sell that house and that we are going to get good capital growth. That is why we are prepared to spend on our houses by keeping them in good condition, paying off the mortgage, and staying on top of whatever you need to do at your house. Now, lately, in the last few years, capital growth was not realized because of several factors. There is the bad economy. There is the change in how the world operates. There are politicians that don't have your interests at heart. There are service providers, local governance people who don't bear your interests on their hearts. They are often just there for what they can gain from being in power. And consequently, your suburb has started declining. The area around your suburb has declined, and when you try to sell your property, you find that there are too many properties on the market. Sellers are under pressure and they have to sell their properties for way less than they intended to. And that works out to a significant loss for homeowners. Now, only once your house or your property generates income can you regard it as an asset. Capital growth on its own is not enough. You need to derive income from any property you own in order to turn it into an asset. Your house you traditionally regarded as your safe haven, your space where you can be private on your own, but the financial loss in the end often does not make it worth owning that house, unless you can find a way to turn it into a source of income. And this is important because it can be an additional source of income from you. And the more sources of income you have, the better you are prepared for any eventuality. Markets change, everything changes overnight. And if you only have one source of income, you can often land in difficulties. If you can turn your house into another source of income, you at least have something to fall back on during hard times. Also, it is of benefit to you once you want to sell your house. So I want to urge you to re-look at your house, not only as your safe haven, your space, but as a source of potential income. It is there. You are already paying for it. Why not turn it into a source of income? I did exactly that, and the benefits have been exceptional. It has allowed us to travel, to have extra income. It has allowed us to pay for the rates and taxes, all the maintenance costs, and still have change in our pockets. So I want to urge you to think about doing the same. And that is why I developed the My House Works course, because this system has allowed us to change our house into an income generating asset. And what is more, we still have all our privacy. We haven't given up any of our own living space. We have only given up areas that we didn't actually use. So, to monetize your home, you can do several things. We chose the short-term accommodation route because we have experience in short-term accommodation. But there are so many businesses and side hustles that you can run using your house. You are already paying for your house. Why would you want to go and rent extra space somewhere else while you can use your own house? So you can save costs by moving a business that you have to your house. Yes, it is possible to do it without infringing on your personal spaces. And I recommend that as well, because I don't think it's a very good thing to have your business right in your house where you are living. There are several options, as I've said before. You can have tutoring classes. I'm thinking of exercise classes, cooking classes, having a studio out at your house. It all depends on where your house is located, what surrounds your house, what the demands are in the area around your house, and of course, what your interests and capabilities are. Because you need to marry your property with your own interests and capabilities and come up with something that you can do from your house. In the My House Works course, you are going to do an assessment of your own capabilities and interests, and then you are going to look at what people require around your house, where it's located, what's located close to it, so that you can come up with something that suits you. You don't have to go the short-term accommodation rule option. You can do something that suits your personality and your lifestyle. Now, once you've decided to do something from your house, it's important to spend as little money as possible at the start. In our case, we started off with one self-catering short-term accommodation apartment to test the market. And only once we saw that it was very successful did we expand to eventually having 3 self-catering short-term apartments at our house. We curtailed our expenses because one of the golden rules is to spend as little as possible, but on something that will generate you a lot of income. In other words, a small spend for a very large return. And this is possible if you consult with proper architects and people who can show you how to utilize existing spaces, because that is the ultimate benefit by using existing spaces. Not to jump in and build a self-catering apartment from scratch. The costs will be so high that it will take you a very long time to recoup the money that you laid out on that project. And also, you must be careful not to over-capitalize. And here you need to keep in mind the day that you want to sell your property. So don't spend money on something that won't be attractive to a buyer. You may use an apartment for short-term accommodation, but your buyer might want a granny flat or a separate flat for student children. So always bear your buyer in mind when you do decide to make alterations to your house. So this is what the My House Works course is all about, to guide you on this journey of making your house an income generating asset. I have vast experience to share with you, to guide you on the journey, to come to a decision of what is required in your area so that you set yourself up for success. I want to encourage you to take control of your financial situation. Nobody is coming to save you. No politician, no government, they're not coming to save you. It's up to you. It is what you do which will eventually reap the best benefits. So, change often creeps in, and then suddenly it snowballs. First there's a trickle, and then there's a flood. It's exactly what happened to homeowners. The degradation started slowly but surely, and then suddenly it became an immense factor and to huge detriment of homeowners. Many homeowners have wiped out a big portion of their assets simply by the loss of value experienced in their properties. Not due to what they did, but to what happened around them. So take control of your financial future. Turn your house into an income generating asset. And when you eventually want to sell, buyers will look at your house differently because of the fact that it has more than one purpose. It will attract more buyers than the ordinary property in your suburb. So thank you for listening. Get in touch, let me know if you want to find out more about the course. And yes, follow me. I'm on Instagram, YouTube, and I've got a podcast. Bye.